Hey people, it is Wednesday, April the 23rd. The time is 8:08 in the evening. It's currently around 9 degrees Celsius or thereabouts. It's cooled off a bit. Since earlier in the day, it was well into the teens, around 15. But I guess we're well into the evening now, so that's to be expected. I am on Annette Street, right where it begins here at Dundas Street West. We're in the Junction area, formerly known as the town of West Toronto if you go back far enough in time. So Dundas Street is just the next street north of here, where the well-known commercial strip is, but Annette Street here is interesting in its own right. It's been a while since I've done a walk through here. It's a very charming and attractive street with a nice mix of old historic homes with some stretches of retail businesses sort of interspersed along the way. Not as solidly built up as Dundas Street in the heart of the Junction, but it's a pretty neat street, so I thought I'd take a walk along here as the sun sets. I think sunset is happening as we speak, actually. So by the time this video is over, it might be properly dark. I think the last time I did a walk along Annette Avenue was several years ago, and it was in the dead of winter. So we got a bit of a different vibe this time. Got a nice mix of different housing styles. Annette Street does go all the way over to Jane, but I'm not sure if I'll go quite that far. And there's a bit of a little retail strip along that very western end of it. Looks like this house has seen better days. Same with the one next door. Beautiful old row houses there. A corner store. You don't see enough of those anymore in these older neighborhoods. Oftentimes you'll find that those old corner stores close down and get converted into a residential unit. I think the city is trying to make it easier for neighborhood corner stores of that sort to set up shop again. That'd be good to see. Oftentimes, once they close, another one can't reopen there due to the zoning laws. So the ones that are existing are grandfathered in from an earlier time. But why should that be? It shouldn't be. They should be permitted to open, I would say, in these old neighborhoods. Who doesn't want a nice handy corner store within easy walking distance? Often family owned as well. So that's my rant for the day, I guess. I think we'll see a few more of those actually as I make my way along Annette. This street is kind of cool how it curves around here. It leads up to Dundas. And if you go south, you'll eventually come upon Bloor Street. Yeah, it's really cooled off. There's a bit of a chill in the air now. Right, here's Keele. This is a major street crossing Annette. It'll take you to sort of like the heart of the Junction commercial area if you go north. It's very wide here also. You can see where it intersects with the Dundas up ahead. I think this is one of the nicest residential thoroughfares in the west end of the city. It's not quite a major street, but it is more of a well-traveled thoroughfare, I guess you could say. It's definitely not a quiet, purely residential side street. Up towards Dundas. Some great old townhomes here. I guess what I was trying to say is it's not as busy as Bloor and Dundas, but it is decently busy though, as you can see. Wow, this smells really good here. This tree is in full bloom. And I found the neighborhood public library branch. This classic looking building. And the neighborhood Masonic Temple. I imagine these go back 100 years or more in this part of the city. Back in the days, perhaps before it became part of the city of Toronto. Was West Toronto. St. Cecilia's Catholic Church. And here's Pacific Avenue. This is one of the more well-known residential streets. The street is known for its Halloween displays during spooky season. I think mainly down that way. I actually walked along there during a live stream last Halloween when I was streaming with Felicity. I checked out some of the decor. There's a memorial there. I think someone was hit by a car, tragically. Someone wrote, "Please slow down." And I could see how people would speed along here too. Maybe the street could do with some traffic calming. Looks like this is a bike lane here, but it's really just painted lines on the street. It's kind of a neat apartment building. Looks very old. Not sure what this is. I think it's apartments now. And they were working on this project last time I walked through here. That is still sort of stuck in a state of limbo by the looks of it. There's for sale signs on it now. I guess that project fell through. It looks like they were going to convert this into a residential building, this old church. I wonder what happened there. Crossing High Park Avenue, which leads down to High Park, obviously, if you go south. The street is crazy wide here. And the houses are set far back too from the sidewalk. Bit of a different sort of street than most. I guess that was a street for the rich folks back in the day. Although almost all of the streets around here now are very well-to-do. Houses around here are very expensive. Even the attached houses. Old row houses like this. Obviously the detached houses are going for millions around here. I'm not sure what you'd pay for one unit in this row. Probably still $1 million plus, easily. Quebec Avenue. And here's a little bit of commercial on this corner. think this is a coffee shop. Yeah, it seems to be a coffee shop. If that's to be a hint. Food market. And here's a variety store. It's not right on the corner, but close enough. The Clover School. It's a Montessori school. Looks like it's getting some renos done. It's getting quite a bit darker now. High Park Music across the street. I think that's a music school by the looks of it. A very nice looking street here. Clendenin Avenue. There's a school building. Not sure what the name of the school is offhand though. Maybe if I cross the street. Let's change it up a bit. I think it's just called Annette St Public School. That makes sense. Quite a few sweeping curves along here also. And here's the Annette Recreation Center. Definitely a strong identity here along Annette Avenue. I think another school here, St. Cecilia. Catholic school. I think there are tons of families all around this part of town. Very family oriented. crossing Evelyn Avenue. Get a look at the school. The painted on bike lane on this side too. Some music lessons here. It's a really nice, stable, old school neighborhood, you know. Back like they used to make them. It still exists. And the darkness is closing in on us now. Almost feels like a fall evening, more so than a spring evening right now for some reason. I wonder if this is Runnymede Road coming up. I seem to remember there being a little cluster of commercial around that intersection, which looks like what I'm about to walk past here. That guy was smoking a big reefer. I could smell it as I walk past. Good job with the hacking up a lung. There we have a nice little proper intersection with commercial on all four corners. The Little B Mart. This is indeed Runnymede Road. Got some random music. It looks like it used to be a bank or something once upon a time. It's getting a bit more built up now. I think the further west you go on Annette, the more of this sort of thing you see, more commercial storefronts. Especially on its most very western end, as I mentioned.
Divided amongst
When the traffic calms down, it does take on a bit of a different feel until all the cars come back again. Let's cross to the other side again. Looks like this one is no longer being used as a commercial space. Now leasing. The Bobby Points Barbershop. So I've been told that that's how you pronounce it. Not like baby, but Babby, even though it's spelled like baby. Once you get to this western part of the street, that's the neighborhood you're in now. I wonder if I could just go all the way to Jane. I didn't want this walk to be too long. I'm planning to do another one after this. Babby Point Gates welcomes you. All right, let's keep going. Clear my throat. Got some Tudor here. I think that might be Jane Street just up ahead. Seems to be. There's a little stretch of retail to take us to Jane. Tennis boutique. Wally's Smoke. I wonder if that sign predates Adeline, which is here now. Maybe they thought this sign is too cool to replace. Let's just leave the old sign and we'll just put this on the window. Home Hardware, the Fiddler's Dell. But yeah, I think that does it for this walk along Annette. I think those gates across Jane Street welcome you into a bit more of an exclusive area here in Babby Point. I'll save that for another day. And And this old bank building is a restaurant now. It looks like it used to be a CIBC bank by the design. And Busy Jane. There's also retail running along this part of Jane Street as well. But I hope you did enjoy this walk. Leave a comment down below. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you haven't already done so, that is. And also be sure to hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of my videos. If you'd like to support the channel, there are links in the description where you can do so via PayPal, as well as via my merch store, or you can also support the channel by becoming a channel member, or by sending a super thanks if you prefer. And you can find me on Instagram also under K Continuum. That looks pretty fancy in there. So thanks for watching, and thanks to all the channel members. And be sure to keep checking back because, as always, I will continue.